Upper Whitewater Falls Trailhead to Bad Creek access is a 3.1 miles, very scenic and popular section of the Foothills Trail, with a side trail up to Upper Whitewater Falls overlook. Whitewater Falls is the tallest waterfall in the East Coast. The trail continues to descend until you reach the scenic and beautiful Whitewater River, with plenty of views along the trail of this amazing river. The Foothills Trail follows the scenic river for 1.7 miles.
You cross over this road, it takes you to Whitewater Falls, and here's the parking lot. And this begins the section A8. Alright, this is the start of section A8. Upper Whitewater parking lot to Bad Creek. The section is 3.1 miles. So, Badwater Creek is not on the trail per se, the trailhead. It's 0.7 miles off a blue blight side trail, but that's the only access to it, so I figured I'd mention it at the beginning of the video. .5, you have a little dry campsite right up there. Trail is just straight downhill, pretty steeply here in this section. 28.6 miles. Come to a bridge over a water source, a nicely flowing water source. 28.9, you have this bridge, and it's the side trail to Upper Whitewater Falls. It was about 0.4 miles in. Just a lot of people. I felt awkward recording. A lot of people out today in this section. I saw no one in the first 8 miles. I've seen like 20 people so far in this section. .9 miles. Trail descends. Really nice stairs. Here's the boulders I was talking about. It's about 29 miles in. Alright guys, at 29.1 miles, you come to this intersection. Whitewater Falls overlook is 0.1 or 0.2 that way. Foothills Trail continues down. On your right, we're gonna go check out the waterfalls. Just got a bunch of steps up to the overlook. Alright guys, so just got back from Whitewater Falls. And we're at, again, 29.1. And the trail here is going to descend steeply over 600 feet over a series of switchbacks. And I'm not feeling too hot, so I'm gonna go real slow. So I want to talk a little bit about Whitewater Falls there. It is made up of gneiss rock, which is a really hard metamorphic rock, and it's just very water resistant. Of course, nothing's fully water resistant, but that's what the prevalence of that gneiss rock there is what creates that big waterfall, that 600-foot drop waterfall, is that very resistant rock. 9.2, we got a series of log steps. Not OSHA compliant. Definitely not OSHA compliant. All the way down there is Whitewater River. This is the first rough section after the ice storm with a bunch of downed trees. but still fairly easy to navigate. Oh shit. 29.4.5, we come to a nice little spring along the trail. It is straight down, a lot of steps, a lot of rocks. Not exactly easy hiking in this little section. So, Whitewater River has some Cherokee lore associated with it, namely the legend of Princess Jocassee. Now, Princess Jocassee, or she was a maiden, Jocassee, she was part of the Oconee tribe, or the Brown Vipers, and she fell in love with a warrior from a rival tribe. Both tribes, as far as I know, were part of the Cherokee Nation. But yeah, she fell in love with Noguchi, a warrior from the rival tribe. During a battle between the two tribes, Princess Jocassee's brother killed Noguchi, and him, being the good brother that he was, decided to chop off Noguchi's head, wear it along his belt in celebration when he returned to the tribe. And yeah, Princess Jocassee obviously got very upset. Driven by grief, Princess Jocassee walked into the raging waters of the White River, and legend has it, instead of drowning or being swept away in the current, her spirit, her body, walked along the water and floated up to the spirit of her lover, Noguchi. So yeah, how was that for Romeo and Juliet? Also, this area was home to many tribes of the Cherokee Nation, and one town in particular was called the Vale of Jocassee. And the Vale of Jocassee is currently about 300 feet underwater of Lake Jocassee. So yeah, cool. I enjoyed learning a little bit about the history of these places. At 29.5 or 0.6 miles, you'll see Whitewater River below you, and you'll see the bridge that goes over Whitewater River. Here's another bridge. And another bridge. And all the way up there is Whitewater Falls. So I just left the bridge, and yeah, just wanted to mention there is no camping along the stretch of the river. So even if you see a location where you could put a tent, like I just saw one, don't camp here. It's prohibited. But this little section of the White River is so pretty. I spent so much time just laying on that rock, just looking up at the river and the waterfalls. It was gorgeous. So shortly after that last bridge over Whitewater River, you have another bridge, this time over Corbin Creek. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that bridge. Corbin Bridge. That bridge was redone, reconstructed from scratch in 2024. And it is an example of how the Foothills Trail Conservancy Group is still doing a great job with this trail. It took at least 24 people, 400 hours, and help from a helicopter from the U.S. Forest Service to deliver the materials to construct that bridge. So there's a lot of effort still going in to maintaining and preserving this trail, and I'm happy for it. So thank you guys for the work. As I mentioned, as you can see on that sign, there's no camping along the Whitewater River corridor. So even if you find a flat spot, don't camp here, please. Do follow the rules. The trail just walks along a beautiful white river. I wonder what it looked like before all the damming. Did it change anything? Sure it did. Well, actually, I don't know. Was the damming up or below us? I guess if the damming was above where our current location is, then absolutely it did. If the damming was below, maybe not, probably not. Well, to here, there's a lot more trees down, and this little section here is starting to become more annoying than the others. Up to now, it's been pretty easy to navigate. Here it's gotten a little more tricky. A lot of these where you kind of have to climb over or duck under. Like that. Still not terrible, but a little annoying. And if I had a backpack, it might be a little more annoying. But still entirely doable. 30.2. You have this bridge followed by a bunch of steps, 30 or so steps. Oh man, this is a little rough. I'm gonna have to get on my hands and knees. Immediately past the bridge, you got these steps. And another bridge. And get another bridge. Did a lot of work on this section for sure to make it easier to hike. Alright guys, at 30.3 you'll come to this opening again. No camping, plenty of signs, but you'll see a start of the Duke Power section of the trail. And here, or near here, the trail again crosses over the North Carolina, South Carolina, and this time coming back into South Carolina. And I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of the ownership of this area, because it's changed hands a lot. Originally it was part of Cherokee Nation and the various tribes of the Cherokee Nation, Lower Cherokee Nation to be more specific. And then after the American Revolution, the Americans obviously kicked them out and forced them out west. And then it was open to white settlement, and a couple of homesteaders came to this general area, like the Sims family we discussed earlier, and John Cantrell and the Burrell family and several others. After that, around the late 19th century, timber companies started acquiring land, large tracts of land in the south, for lumber, because they had completely ravaged the northeast. So they were looking for new timber supplies. So they found virgin ground in southern Appalachian and started just buying huge tracts of land. So they logged extensively this area. The Foothills Trail that we've hiked so far and other places walk along those old forest logging roads for small little sections here and there. And then after that, around the 1950s and 60s, the land changed hands again. And this time it was to power plants, hydroelectric power plants, namely Duke Energy that we just saw back there. So Duke Energy wanted to create hydroelectric plants in this area. They wanted to dam a couple of the rivers, create new lakes, and create some hydroelectric energy. So they started buying up huge tracts of land that once belonged to the timber companies, and they also bought other tracts of land as well to do their project. And they got their project done around the 1970s. However, during this time, South Carolina and North Carolina were starting to have a real emergent conservancy and environmental groups. And that became more and more prevalent. And some leading figures like Ted Snide of the Sierra Club and Tommy Weich, I don't know how to say that name, of the Natural Land Trust, also started purchasing large tracts of land. And the nucleus of the Foothills Trail was purchased by these two gentlemen, and to protect this beautiful area. Trail crosses another bridge here over a beautiful water source. So you had this land grab between Duke Energy and its sister company Crescent Moon, I can't remember, Crescent something, which was another timber company, to buy tracts of land. Eventually Duke Energy wanted to create the Bad Creek pumped hydroelectric project, and it was getting some public backlash and having some issues on the regulatory side. Instead of fighting, they saw an opportunity to work with conservancy groups and help create and protect a natural green area. So the Sierra Club previously had suggested a slope plan for South Carolina, and it included, among other things, a trail that largely parallels the present day Foothills Trail. So Duke Energy decided, let's work with them, give them what they want, and in turn maybe we could get what we want. So Duke Energy partnered with these conservancy groups to help create the Foothills Trail, help create, maintain, provide funding, land, which is the land we're currently on, is Duke Energy's land, and manpower to help make the Foothills Trail a reality. And it ends up showing a good example where public, private, and government could work together to accomplish something for the good of everyone. Duke Energy got its project, conservancy groups got protections on Duke Energy land and a Foothills Trail. We got another bridge and a set of stairs here. And Duke Energy has been, from what I could tell, an honest partner with the Foothills Conservancy Group, giving money, manpower. They didn't just, for lack of a better word, fuck off after they got what they wanted. They are, from what I could tell, a good steward of the land, a good partner to this trail and the Foothills Trail Conservancy Group. So yeah, figured I'd tell you a little bit about the stretch of the trail while we're on it. We're at 30.6. We have a large rock outcropping over the White River and many bridges in this section. No shortage. Beautiful creek below. Another bridge. A lot of up and downs in this section. A lot of steps, stairs, log stairs like this. Trail crosses another bridge. Sorry, I don't have the mile markers. At about 30.8, you have another bridge over a beautiful stream feeding Whitewater River. It's gorgeous. The trail comes to this beautiful creek right alongside it. Another bridge. At 31.4, you'll see a double blaze on the trail. This section, after a bit, it lasts like half a mile. It's very flat and cruisy. But you come to the end of section, I think A8. This is Bad Creek access. If you want to go to Lower Whitewater Falls, the Foothills Trail continues that way. But we're going to Bad Creek parking, which is 0.7 over this bridge.